Hello again. You get to hear me once more. The problem with writing a reflection is that when you reflect more, there are more things that you want to reflect about. So I could be here for about 35 minutes. Okay. I wasn't actually asked to speak for 35 minutes, but. So raise your hand if you thought 2021 would be when we returned to normal. Yeah, you kind of thought we'd return to normal. That didn't really happen. So I kind of waved my hand that, yeah, I sort of thought it would be normal, but I had no idea that it would be so different. That a different normal, you know, we hear the term new normal, and I guess it's a new normal, but it's a new changing normal. So we're adjusting to something that we weren't really used to. So one of the things I had to do in 2021 was learn to socialize again. You know, we spent most of 2020 socializing using technology, which I love. You know, I'm sort of a geek, but not really, because I don't want to call myself a geek, but I really love technology, and I love playing around with it. So the idea of socializing using technology was great in my mind. But what I had not done before is socialize using technology all of the time. So I loved teaching classes online. It was a lot of fun. I got to experiment with video and images and all that stuff, and I love that. But when I want to talk to my friends, I want to talk to my friends, right? I don't want to talk to their head in a video. And so that was something I had to think about with technology, is it's okay part of the time, a lot of the time, but not all of the time. So that included learning how to dress, because using technology, right, you only see my head, so, you know, put on a little makeup and, you know, okay, I'm good. Comb my hair, or try to remember to comb my hair, and I'm good. And it doesn't matter what I have on below the neck, right? And just don't get up. You know, remember not to get up while you're talking to people, but you know, I had to learn how to dress again. And that was really weird because I had all these clothes from before. It's not like those clothes disappeared. I just added a bunch of more comfortable clothes. More sweatpants and yoga pants and, you know, so I had to learn how to dress again. I had to move away from the aloneness that comes along with, you know, trying to deal with some of the consequences of exposure to COVID or potential exposure. So, you know, I was very lucky. I was living with my family, so, or at least part of my family, so at least I had someone to talk to. And I love my family very much. I'd like someone else to talk to, too. So part of it was an aloneness, not because I was only alone, but because I wasn't meeting people on a regular basis outside of my family. And then to connect, you had to make a deliberate effort to connect in 2020. So 2021, you kind of had to follow that along too. You have to call people and say, let's go have coffee. Usually like in a park or something. So those are some of the things that changed in terms of socialization for me. The justice system, or as Reverend Tim calls it, more the accountability system, was different. Oops, I'm dropping things. Self-defense was used as a defense, and what was interesting, in the North, self-defense worked as a defense. So you could walk around with a rifle and kill people, and it was all self-defense. In the South, at least in one case, It didn't work. And Reverend Tim already mentioned the killing of Ahmaud Arbery, that they all received life sentences, 2 without parole, 1 with parole after 30 years, so he'd be 80-something before he would be able to even be eligible for parole. So I thought it was an interesting contrast because you sort of, based on U.S. history, you would think the opposite result would happen. And then I also had been thinking about the inequality that is exacerbated by the difference in educational level and whether you could work from home. And, I have been working from home teaching from home for probably 5 years. So it wasn't a big change, as I mentioned before. Some people never got to work from home. My daughter, Jamie, she never got to work from home. She's a healthcare worker. So no matter what, you can only do that healthcare if you're there every day. And it's people who are providing that kind of care that didn't get the option, but had incredible confusion with daycare and schools being open or not being open, and trying to teach your children from home, but you have to not be at home. And so I thought about that a lot. I couldn't think of a specific solution. Well, my solutions would be too radical, but I think that that's one of the things that I thought about is people, how do they manage it? And then you lost your daycare for 2020. Now 2021, what do you do? I mean, do you just take your kids to daycare? I guess you have to, right? But they could be exposed to all kinds of things that you don't want them exposed to in terms of COVID. I also thought about fewer people willing to work. You see all the signs that the employers need workers. Of course, I think there's an easy solution to that, which is you pay a lot more. I mean, supposedly in a market economy, if you pay more, then you get more of what you want, but, $15 an hour, yes. I'm sure everyone can live comfortably on $15 an hour, right? But anyway, they say they can't find people to work, but I have the solution. And then I thought about how vaccines were a political issue. It wasn't scientific, which I didn't understand. And, I thought about it a lot, and I understand that people have different perspectives on, how much government should interfere with your life or not. But I always, I was wondering as I was reflecting, how do you justify that you might hurt other people? I mean, if you lived in an island by yourself, you could not get vaccinated. That's fine. You live in your house by yourself, you never go out, never interact with people. Why, you don't have to, but you can place other people at risk. But some of the other things I reflected on were like, it's still wonderful to go outside and see the sun and look at trees and look at grass. And I've had an ant problem in my apartment for a while, and look at ants. Not in the same light, perhaps. I keep telling them, look, I'm not going in your house. Why are you coming in mine? But they don't listen. Taking a walk. I can still take a walk and look around and, kind of feel my body as I'm walking and feeling the muscles, and that hasn't changed. And that's a really good feeling. Looking at animals. I lost one of my cats last year, but my other cat is still with me, although now he's starting to look old too, so I'm not happy about that. But spending time with him, a cat, he's a big old tabby. And also wild animals. I mean, we can't visit them, and certainly there are a lot of questions about zoos and, whether we should have zoos even. But I've been to the zoo. I get on television and watch polar bears and all kinds of animals, and it's amazing. I mean, and so reflecting on that as well. And then my last point is friends and family. We can get more involved with friends and family now than we could in the past. And we keep doing that. I just met a cousin that I hadn't seen since I was 7 years old. It was so exciting So there are things that I've thought about that are tough, that we have to deal with, but there are also things that are still wonderful. And so hopefully you'll think about those as we go into 2022.